Hello friends, welcome to Book Bites. Today we'll talk about book How to Win Friends and Influence People, written by Dale Carnegie. How to Win Friends and Influence People, written by Dale Carnegie, was first published in 1936 and remains one of the most influential self-help books of all time. With over 15 million copies sold worldwide, it has had a lasting impact on readers from all walks of life, ranging from business professionals to everyday individuals seeking to improve their social skills and relationships. The book's core philosophy is rooted in understanding human nature and learning to interact with others in ways that foster trust, respect, and positive engagement. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of developing genuine interest in others, offering sincere appreciation, and learning how to influence people through empathy, positivity, and effective communication. The book is divided into 4 parts, each focusing on a different aspect of interpersonal communication: techniques for handling people, ways to make people like you, how to win others to your way of thinking, and leadership strategies for changing people without arousing resentment. These principles are timeless and have been widely applied in a variety of professional and personal contexts. What makes this book stand out is not only the practical advice it provides, but also its underlying humanistic approach, suggesting that the key to influence lies in truly caring about others, rather than using manipulative tactics. Carnegie's simple yet powerful insights have made it an enduring guide for improving one's social skills, building strong personal and professional relationships, and becoming an effective leader. Let's explore the concepts of the book, breaking them down point by point, and refining the explanation to ensure clarity and precision. Point 1. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. One of Dale Carnegie's foundational principles is to avoid criticizing, condemning, or complaining about others. This may sound simple, but its power lies in understanding human psychology. People do not like to be told they are wrong, and when confronted with criticism, they typically respond with defensiveness, justification, or resentment. Carnegie explains that criticism often leads not to correction but to bitterness and resistance. When you criticize someone, even if you're right, you risk damaging their self-esteem and creating emotional distance. Human beings are deeply driven by the need for importance and self-worth. A direct attack on someone's behavior often feels like a personal attack, even if your intentions are constructive. That's why criticism rarely brings about the desired change. Instead, it often leads to arguments or deteriorating relationships, whether in personal life or professional settings. Carnegie provides multiple real-life examples to illustrate this. For instance, he mentions how Abraham Lincoln learned through experience to avoid criticizing others, especially after one critical letter he wrote during the Civil War had negative consequences. Lincoln later adopted a more thoughtful and empathetic approach, even toward those with whom he disagreed. So what's the alternative? Carnegie encourages us to approach mistakes or disagreements with understanding and patience. Instead of jumping to judgment, try to see the situation from the other person's perspective. Ask yourself, why did they act the way they did? What were their motivations? This empathetic mindset fosters communication, cooperation, and ultimately positive change. In practical terms, if a colleague makes a mistake, instead of saying, "You messed this up," you might say, "Let's look at what happened and how we can fix it together." This simple shift avoids defensiveness and opens up a space for collaborative problem solving. Ultimately, by refraining from criticism and adopting a mindset of compassion and curiosity, you not only build stronger relationships but also become someone others respect and feel comfortable around. It's not about avoiding the truth, it's about communicating it in a way that helps rather than hurts. Point 2. Give honest and sincere appreciation. One of the deepest urges in human nature is the desire to feel important and valued. Dale Carnegie emphasizes that giving honest and sincere appreciation is a powerful tool to fulfill this need in others. This isn't about flattery or fake compliments. Carnegie makes it clear that people can detect insincerity quickly. Instead, he teaches us to genuinely notice the good in others and express our appreciation in a meaningful way. Too often we focus on mistakes or things that go wrong, ignoring the countless ways people contribute or do something well. Carnegie argues that if you want to build positive relationships and influence people, you must make a habit of recognizing and appreciating their efforts. This doesn't mean sugarcoating everything or pretending problems don't exist. It means shifting your attention to people's strengths and acknowledging them for it. For instance, instead of simply saying "good job," say "I really appreciated the way you handled that client issue. Your calm approach made a big difference." This kind of specific and heartfelt appreciation makes people feel seen and respected. It motivates them to continue performing well and deepens the connection between you. Carnegie shares real-life stories of employees whose performance skyrocketed after receiving appreciation from their bosses. In many cases, a few kind words made more of an impact than bonuses or promotions. Why? Because recognition satisfies that core human desire for significance and validation. When people feel appreciated, they're more likely to stay engaged, loyal, and happy. In families, friendships, and workplaces, this principle can transform dynamics. Children thrive when their efforts are noticed. Partners feel loved when they're thanked for everyday acts. Co-workers become more cooperative when they know their contributions matter. The key takeaway here is, don't wait for a special occasion to appreciate someone. Make it a daily habit. But always ensure it's genuine. Look for the good, speak it out loud, and let others feel valued. By giving honest and sincere appreciation, you not only uplift others, but also become someone they enjoy being around and are willing to support in return. Point 3. Arouse in the other person an eager want. Dale Carnegie emphasizes that the key to influencing others lies in understanding what they want, not what you want. People are naturally motivated by their own desires and needs. If you want someone to take action, you must show them how doing so fulfills their interests, not yours. Too often we try to persuade people by talking about what we need or want. I want you to do this for me, or this will help me, but Carnegie flips this around. Instead of focusing on yourself, shift the spotlight onto the other person. Ask yourself, what do they care about? What do they want to achieve? How can this idea or request help them get closer to that? Hesemasobao, this principle is not manipulation, it's empathy. It's about stepping into the other person's shoes and aligning your message with their goals. For example, if you're trying to convince a teenager to study more, don't say, I want you to get good grades. Instead, appeal to what they want. I know you want to get into that competitive college or pursue your dream job. Studying is a powerful step in that direction. Carnegie shares examples from business, parenting, and leadership. A successful salesman doesn't push a product by explaining how amazing it is. He shows how the product solves a problem or fulfills a need the customer already has. A manager inspires employees not by commanding them, but by connecting tasks to their career goals or personal satisfaction. This principle is also rooted in emotional intelligence. When people feel understood, they become more open, more trusting, and more likely to engage. By making others feel that your goals align with theirs, you create a partnership, not a power struggle. So how can you apply this in daily life? Start by listening more. Ask questions about what others want, need, or value. Then, when you communicate your ideas, frame them in terms of how they help the other person. Make them feel excited about the opportunity because it meets their needs. In summary, if you want to motivate or influence someone, don't try to force your will. Instead, arouse an eager want in them by showing how what you're proposing benefits them directly. This approach leads to cooperation, enthusiasm, and strong, lasting relationships. Point 4. Become genuinely interested in other people. Dale Carnegie teaches that one of the most powerful ways to build influence and strong relationships is to develop a genuine interest in other people. Not fake interest, not superficial flattery, but sincere curiosity and care for who they are, what they do, and what matters to them. People can sense authenticity. If you're just pretending to care in order to get something from someone, they'll pick up on it and resist your efforts. But when you're truly interested, when you ask questions because you really want to know the answers, when you listen attentively, and when you remember small details, they feel seen, respected, and valued. And that creates a strong emotional connection. This principle is especially effective because it taps into a deep human need, the desire to be noticed and appreciated. Most people go through life without being truly heard. When you show real interest in someone, you stand out. You become memorable and likable without even trying to impress them. Carnegie gives examples of successful business people who build strong networks not by talking about themselves, but by asking thoughtful questions and remembering details about others' lives. One executive could recall the names of all his employees' children and regularly asked about them. It made his team feel important, respected, and loyal. To practice this principle, you can ask people about their hobbies, passions, or family. Follow up on things they've told you in the past. Compliment their efforts or achievements sincerely. Focus on listening rather than trying to steer the conversation back to yourself. Even a simple gesture like remembering someone's birthday or asking about a recent trip they mentioned shows you care. And once people feel that you care about them, they naturally become more receptive to your ideas, more likely to cooperate, and more inclined to help you in return. In our digital world, this kind of human connection is becoming rare and more powerful than ever. Being genuinely interested in others doesn't just help in business or social settings. It also strengthens friendships, marriages, and family relationships. In short, if you want to win people over, stop trying to be interesting. Be interested. That shift in focus can transform your ability to influence others and deepen every relationship you have. Point 5. Smile, the simplest way to win hearts. In How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie highlights one of the simplest yet most powerful tools for creating rapport and warmth in relationships: a smile. It may sound trivial, but a sincere smile can break barriers, uplift moods, and signal openness and friendliness without a single word. Carnegie explains that a smile is a universal symbol of goodwill. It communicates happiness, approachability, and kindness. When you smile, people instinctively feel more comfortable around you. It sends a non-verbal message that says, "I like you, I'm glad to see you." This positive energy encourages others to be more receptive, cooperative, and friendly in return. Science backs this up. Smiling activates areas in the brain associated with happiness and reduces stress. Moreover, it's contagious. When you smile, others often smile back, creating a loop of positivity. That loop is the foundation for emotional connection and influence. Carnegie tells the story of Charles Schwab, a successful businessman known for his engaging smile. Schwab believed that his ability to smile was worth more than any technical skill. His genuine warmth made employees feel valued and inspired loyalty. It wasn't about flattery, it was about presence and sincerity. But there's a catch: the smile must be real. A forced fake grin can have the opposite effect. It feels disingenuous. Carnegie emphasizes that your smile should come from within, fueled by genuine interest in the person and situation. If you don't feel like smiling, he advises thinking of something pleasant before meeting someone, so your inner feeling naturally shows on your face. The beauty of a smile is that it's free, effortless, and available to everyone. Whether you're dealing with customers, co-workers, family, or strangers, it creates an immediate emotional bridge. Here's how to apply this principle. Smile when greeting someone, whether in person, on a video call, or even over the phone. Your tone changes. Use your smile to diffuse tension or awkwardness. Pair your smile with eye contact to make the connection even stronger. In essence, Carnegie teaches that the world responds to your emotional energy. Smile genuinely, and you'll not only improve your relationships, you'll also improve your own mood and outlook. It's a small gesture, but it opens doors, melts resistance, and makes you more likable, influential, and trusted. Point 6. Remember that a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest sound. Dale Carnegie highlights a deeply personal and often overlooked truth in How to Win Friends and Influence People. A person's name is, to them, the most important word in any language. Using it correctly and sincerely is a subtle but powerful way to build rapport and show respect. It's not just about memory, it's about meaning and connection. When you address someone by their name, you instantly personalize the interaction. It signals attention, recognition, and value. Carnegie emphasizes that remembering and using names makes people feel seen, heard, and appreciated. It tells them that they matter not just as a customer, employee, or stranger, but as an individual. Carnegie shares the example of business leaders and political figures who could recall hundreds of names and used this skill to charm and influence people. US presidents like Franklin D. Roosevelt were known for their habit of remembering names, and it made them unforgettable. People felt special in their presence not because of grand gestures, but because of the simple acknowledgement of their identity. This principle goes beyond business. Whether you're speaking to a waiter, a colleague, a client, or a child, using their name with sincerity creates warmth and strengthens the relationship. It helps break the ice, sustain attention, and establish trust. The name becomes a bridge between you and the other person, especially when used in greetings, farewells, or appreciation. But Carnegie also warns against overusing or misusing names. If it feels manipulative or excessive, it can backfire. The key is authenticity. Practice remembering names by repeating them after hearing them, associating them with images or sounds, or writing them down. When forgotten, don't be afraid to politely ask again. It still shows you care enough to get it right. In today's digital age, where communication is often impersonal and rushed, this principle is even more powerful. Whether it's a personal email, a LinkedIn message, or a phone call, including someone's name appropriately creates a moment of human connection in an otherwise mechanical exchange. In conclusion, Carnegie teaches that by simply remembering and using names, we honor the identity and dignity of others. It's a small effort that yields big emotional returns, boosting your likability, influence, and personal magnetism. Use it sincerely, and you'll stand out in a world where most people are too busy to pay such thoughtful attention. Point 7. Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. One of the central themes in Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People is that being a good conversationalist doesn't mean being a great talker. It means being a great listener. People love to talk about themselves, and when you give them that chance, they not only feel heard, but they also start to like you more. Carnegie explains that when you truly listen with interest, you make the other person feel important. And this is one of the deepest human needs. We all crave recognition, and listening is a powerful way to satisfy that need. Most people, however, fall into the trap of waiting for their turn to speak, instead of genuinely engaging with what the other person is saying. He gives the example of a dinner party where he listened intently to a botanist talk about plants for hours. At the end of the night, the botanist praised Carnegie as a great conversationalist, even though Carnegie had said very little. This is the magic of being an active listener. You let others feel valued without needing to dominate the conversation. Encouraging people to talk about themselves doesn't mean being silent or passive. It means asking thoughtful questions, responding with genuine interest, and resisting the urge to interrupt. Use phrases like, "Tell me more about that," "How did that make you feel?" or "What happened next?" These small prompts show that you're engaged. In both personal and professional life, this skill pays dividends. A manager who listens to their team builds trust. A salesperson who listens to a customer's concerns can better tailor their pitch. A friend who listens without judgment creates stronger bonds. Listening creates understanding, and understanding fosters connection. This principle also helps during conflicts. Instead of arguing, listen carefully. People often soften when they feel heard. It doesn't mean you have to agree, but acknowledging their perspective creates space for empathy and resolution. In our noisy, distracted world, real listening is rare and therefore more valuable than ever. Put down the phone, maintain eye contact, nod, and respond meaningfully. These small actions tell the speaker, "I care about what you're saying." In summary, Carnegie reminds us that the best way to be interesting is to be interested. When you become a great listener, you become someone people are drawn to. By letting others talk about themselves, you give them the gift of being seen, and in return, you earn their admiration and trust. Point 8. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. Dale Carnegie emphasizes in How to Win Friends and Influence People that the easiest and most effective way to build a genuine connection with someone is to focus on what they care about, not what you want to talk about. This principle is simple. If you want someone to like you or be more receptive to your ideas, speak in terms of their interests. Carnegie shares stories of how influential people master this tactic by taking time to learn about others' hobbies, passions, or even minor preferences, and using those as bridges for deeper communication. Whether it's sports, books, family, or travel, when you speak about something meaningful to the other person, they light up. It shows that you care, that you've noticed, and that you're not just trying to push your own agenda. For instance, if you're trying to pitch an idea to a client, and you start by discussing a topic they're deeply interested in, maybe their love for fishing, or their admiration for a certain author, you're no longer a salesperson, you're a friend. And friends are easier to work with, listen to, and trust. This principle also works wonders in personal relationships. If your partner is passionate about gardening, take interest in that even if you don't love plants. Ask questions, listen, share in the joy. Your willingness to engage with what matters to them is a powerful way to show love and respect. Carnegie's key message here is that you can't force people to care about your interests, but you can always choose to show interest in theirs. When you do this sincerely, they become more open, more cooperative, and more invested in you. But sincerity is crucial. People can tell if you're faking interest. So take a genuine curiosity approach. Explore, learn, and grow from conversations with others. Often you'll discover new passions and connections that you never expected. In everyday life, this might look like noticing a colleague's desk filled with comic book memorabilia and striking up a conversation about superhero movies, even if you know nothing about them. Or perhaps your neighbor is always working on their car, ask them what they're fixing. You don't need to become an expert, just a respectful observer who shows they care. Wakal Aligana Bosapa Mabilo movie. In essence, Carnegie teaches us that the fastest way to someone's heart is through their passions. By aligning your conversations with their interests, you create an emotional bond, lower defenses, and build trust effortlessly. This habit, when practiced often, becomes second nature and a superpower in relationships, work, and life. Point 9. Make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. One of the most profound principles Dale Carnegie offers in How to Win Friends and Influence People is the idea that every human being craves to feel important. This is not just a desire, it's a deep emotional need. When you acknowledge and affirm someone's importance, you create a powerful emotional connection that opens doors to influence, friendship, and trust. Carnegie isn't suggesting flattery or manipulation. In fact, he clearly warns against insincere compliments. What he encourages is genuine appreciation, seeing the real value in others, and expressing it honestly. This could be something as simple as thanking someone for their effort, noticing their unique talent, or acknowledging a strength they may not even be aware of. In daily life, think about how rare it is for people to be genuinely appreciated. Most conversations revolve around tasks, problems, or self-interest. So when you take the time to look someone in the eye and say, "You did a great job handling that," or "Your perspective really helped me think differently," you stand out. You make them feel seen, and that feeling is unforgettable. Carnegie shares examples of leaders, managers, and even ordinary people who transformed relationships just by making others feel important. Whether it was a business deal, a classroom, or a family setting, the moment people felt respected and valued, their behavior improved, their trust deepened, and their willingness to cooperate increased. This principle is especially powerful in parenting and leadership. Children who are constantly criticized may lose self-confidence. But when they're encouraged and made to feel important, when someone tells them, "I believe in you," they rise to the occasion. Similarly, employees perform better for leaders who make them feel like their contributions truly matter. It's also important to understand that making someone feel important doesn't require grand gestures. Small actions can have big impact. Asking someone for their opinion shows respect. Remembering their name or a detail about their life shows they're not just a face in the crowd. Listening without interrupting tells them that what they say matters. Ultimately, Carnegie reminds us that this principle works best when it's a natural part of who we are, not a strategy. It means choosing to look for the good in people, to recognize their efforts, and to lift them up with sincere words. When you make this your habit, your relationships become richer, and your ability to influence others grows effortlessly. Because at the end of the day, people won't always remember what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And feeling important? That's a gift they'll never forget. Point 10. The magic of smiles and encouragement, creating positive interactions. In the final stretch of Dale Carnegie's wisdom-packed book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, one consistent idea becomes clear. A positive, encouraging attitude has the power to transform relationships. While many people search for the perfect words or persuasive strategies to win others over, Carnegie emphasizes the importance of simple human warmth, particularly through genuine smiles and encouragement. A smile may seem small, but it's incredibly powerful. According to Carnegie, it's one of the easiest and most effective ways to make someone feel comfortable and welcomed. A sincere smile communicates friendliness, openness, and acceptance. It tells the other person, without a single word, "I like you," or "I'm happy to see you." When you meet someone with a smile, you set a positive tone for the entire interaction. Carnegie shares several real-life stories in the book that demonstrate how a smile disarmed angry customers, won over hesitant clients, or brightened a stranger's day. The magic lies in its authenticity. Fake smiles are easy to spot and lose their effect, but a smile that comes from genuine goodwill never fails to make a lasting impression. Beyond smiling, encouragement is another essential tool in building trust and positive influence. Carnegie explains that people flourish when they are appreciated and encouraged, rather than criticized or judged. When you tell someone they're doing well, they often try even harder to meet your expectations. But when someone feels only their flaws are noticed, their motivation tends to shrink. Encouragement can take many forms: acknowledging effort, expressing belief in someone's potential, or simply saying, "You've got this." In parenting, encouraging words can inspire children to grow confidently. In work environments, they build morale and loyalty. In friendships and relationships, they foster deeper emotional bonds. It's also important to note that Carnegie doesn't promote unrealistic praise. He insists that encouragement must be honest and grounded in truth. The goal is not to manipulate, but to uplift, to find the good in people and help them see it in themselves. Encouragement turns mistakes into learning opportunities. Instead of harshly pointing out errors, you can say something like, "You did a great job trying, and I know you'll get even better next time." This creates a culture of growth rather than fear. When you combine a sincere smile with kind encouragement, you unlock a powerful formula for influencing people without pressure or force. It's about building people up, not tearing them down. These simple gestures open hearts, invite cooperation, and leave a lasting legacy of kindness. In a world where many are quick to criticize and slow to praise, choosing to smile and encourage is a radical act of leadership, compassion, and influence. As Carnegie teaches, sometimes the smallest actions, when done sincerely, create the biggest results. Conclusion: How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie remains one of the most influential personal development books ever written, and for good reason. Its core message is timeless. Human relationships are built on empathy, respect, and genuine interest in others. Carnegie teaches us that success, whether personal or professional, is deeply rooted in how we treat people, and this begins with shifting the focus from ourselves to others. The book doesn't offer manipulative tricks or complex techniques. Instead, it highlights the simple, often overlooked habits that make a big difference: remembering names, listening actively, giving sincere appreciation, and never criticizing harshly. Each chapter serves as a reminder that people want to feel important, valued, and heard. When we treat them with kindness and attention, they are naturally drawn toward us. What makes this book especially powerful is how actionable it is. Carnegie's points aren't vague theories. They're backed by relatable stories, real examples, and clear advice that can be applied immediately. Whether it's learning to handle conflict without creating resentment, becoming a better conversationalist, or motivating others through encouragement rather than authority, the book offers tools that stand the test of time. In a world that often prioritizes speed and efficiency over connection and compassion, How to Win Friends and Influence People is a call to return to human-centered values. It's not about pretending to like others or using charm for selfish gains. It's about genuine connection, treating people with dignity and understanding their needs. Ultimately, the book teaches that when we uplift others, we elevate ourselves. We become not only more likable, but also more influential, successful, and fulfilled. Dale Carnegie's wisdom reminds us that in both business and life, people matter most, and how we make them feel is what they'll remember.